Welcome to Brindavan, a Parthasadi family Samarpanam to our beloved parents, a space for enjoying Vaishnava Sampradaya, Slokas, songs, Divyadesa Pasarams, and much more. Namaskaram, Uttama Bhagavatas. Today, we will soak ourselves in the Arthanubhavam of Slokam 76 of Sri Vishnu Sahasranamam in our Ayiram Namangal, Ayiram Gunangal series. Ramanujadaya Patram Jnana Vairagya Bhushanam Srimad Venkatanathāryam Mande Vedanta Desikam Sri Sailesadaya Patram Deepatyadi Gunattamam Yatindra Pravanam Mande Ramyajamataram Munim.
Bhutavaso Vasudeva Sarvasu Nilayo Nalaha Darpaha Darpato Drupto Durdharota Parajitaha.
The first nama in Slokam 76 is Bhutavaso. Bhu is the world and everything is the world. Vasaha is to reside, so or dwell. All the beings dwell within him. During the deluge we can see how everything is residing within Bhagavan. We are all a part of him and all of us, everything resides within Bhagavan. The nama is Bhuta Vasaya Namaha. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, verse 15, Arjuna says, I see everything, all the different beings within your body. I see Brahma seated in lotus flower. I see the Shiva. I see all the sages and all the celestial serpents. I see everything within your body. He says, Arjuna vacha pashyami devanstava deva dehe sarvanstata bhuta vishesha sangan brahmanam isham kamasasanastam rishinscha sarvan uraganscha divyan. He says, pashyami, I am seeing. I see all the devas, sarvan devan, and I can see everything within your body. I can see Brahma, Brahmanam, I can see Isha, I can see Shiva, I can see Brahma on the lotus flower, I can see all the rishis. This is what Arjuna says in chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. Next we come to the nama Vasudevaha. Vasudevaha is, he taught the Dwadasha mantra as the Vyuhamurti in the Para form. As he is a Paramatma, he is in the Sri Vaikuntham. In the same form, in the Vyuhamurti, he teaches the Dwadasha mantra. And therefore he is Vasudevaha. Nama is Vasudevaya Namaha. The third nama is Sarvasu Nilayaha. Sarvam is everything. All the beings reside within him as he is the essential support of life. In Sri Mahabharatam, Sabhaparvam, it is said, when Lord Krishna entered Hastinapura, the joy of the people was similar to that when the sun shines in a dark place, devoid of sunshine, or when the wind blows in a place where it has not blown for a long time. So when Bhagavan re-entered, the beauty or the feeling of everybody was similar to the shining of the bright sun in a dark place or the feeling of blowing of a wind, same place. Sarvasu Nilayaha. Nilayam is to reside. Nama is Sarvasu Nilayaya Namaha. Analaha. Nala is to be satisfied. Analaha is dissatisfied. Bhagavan is always dissatisfied about what he has done for his devotees. He is always wanting to do more. Despite, even though he has given us so much, he wants to give us more and more. And he wants to truly give eternal bliss to everyone. That is why he makes us go in the path towards him. In Sri Mahabharatam, in Udyoga Parvam, Lord Krishna said, Draupadi is calling me Govinda during her most difficult time is always in my mind, and I felt I am indebted to her. He says he is indebted to his bhaktas, to his devotees, his true devotees. And he feels at the least call he should be able to do something for everybody and keep on doing that. Any amount of his karuna he feels is not enough. He can do more, and he does keep giving to us more and more until he gives us eternal bliss. He cannot tolerate injustice done to his devotees by other people. He says he cannot forgive two kinds of people: those who obstruct the yagnas and trouble the sages. That is why Lord Rama goes to the forest at a very young age and kills the Rakshasas, the Asuras, who are doing great obstruction to the yagnas conducted by the sages. Then he also cannot forgive the enemies of the Pandavas, because the Pandavas are great devotees of Bhagavan and he cannot forgive them. So he is always there to help them and help all his true bhaktas. Nama is Analaya Namaha. We now come to the Nama Dharpaha. Dharpa is Dharma. He destroys the ego of those who do not follow the path of righteousness. So he expects everybody to be righteous, all his devotees to be righteous. Indra is a deva who is assigned by him. He has been given a particular job. But when his ego goes beyond a certain level and he insists that everybody should worship only him and causes incessant rains, Bhagavan wants to teach him a lesson. So he lifts a Govardhanagiri where they are supposed to do the Annakota Utsavam for Indra and brings everybody under the Gokulam, in the Gokulam, under the Govardhanagiri, and protects them. So this is Bhagavan's protection act. But at the same time he is also teaching Indra. And he brings the Parijata tree from Indra's garden. And Indra, on understanding his folly, he makes the rains to stop and Bhagavan brings everybody back to Yathasthanam, to where they were before. Then he also dances on the head of Kaliya, the 1,000-headed serpent, which is very powerful and who's troubling everybody in the sea. He also killed the 1,000-shouldered Banasura. These are some of the examples of how Bhagavan destroys the ego of non-righteous people or people who do not follow the path of righteousness. Nama is Dharpagne Namaha. The next Nama we see is Dharpada. He conquered the enemies, created the unconquerable Dwarka. Dwarka is his abode, and he made sure that Dwarka is not conquered by anybody. And he brought the treasures of Shankha and Padma and the Parijata tree and the assembly of gods into Dwaraka and made the Yadavas indulge in Madhupanam drink in their happiness. So this is the way he again makes the Yadavas become more recognized and be more good. Because the Yadavas are basically people who are very simple, who know nothing other than Krishna Bhakti. So they are his true bhaktas, and this is the way he takes care of them. Nama is Dharpadaya Namaha. Nammalvar in Thiruvaimuri 6.4.2 sings about how his time is spent lovingly when he's thinking about and singing about Bhagavan. Keyattim kuழல் உதிற்றும் நிறைமேய்த்ததும் கொண்டை ஒன் கண் வாசப் பூங்குழல் பின்னை தோள்கள் மணந்ததும் மற்றும் பல மாயக் கோலப் பிராந்தன் செய்கை நினைந்து மனம் குழைந்து நேயத்தோடு கழிந்த போது எனக்கு எவ்வுலகம் நிகரே. He says, when I see Bhagavan doing the Anirai Mehtar, that is when he is taking care of the cowherds, and then he plays the Pulangural, Pungural, and then how he marries all the gopis in Gokulam. And when he sees all that, he says, Manam Kuraigiradha, his mind becomes so soft. Arva's mind becomes so happy. And when I think of all of this, and there is no equivalent to that world where I am enjoying all of this bliss with Bhagavan. Now we see the Nama Adriptaha. The Nama is actually Driptaha. He is never proud of his power or what he has done. He does very great feats in a very simple manner, just like lifting of the Govardhanagiri and killing of the Asuras and things like that. And the other thing is, he likes himself to be fondled by Yashoda and Nandagopal. Even though he was Bhagavan himself, he allowed them to fondle him and treat him as a child. So we also see in Krishna stories how Yashoda is chiding him. Even though he's Bhagavan, he allowed him to do so. He allows him to be tied up. Damodara. Nama is Adriptaya Namaha. Now we will see Durdaraha is the next Nama. Even during a child's play, he cannot be caught by his parents. Yashoda tried to tie him with a rope, but the rope was smaller by a small amount, even though she brought a bigger rope every time. And he runs and makes his mother Yashoda run behind him and chide him. Similarly, he cannot be captured by the evil-minded ones. He never allows himself to be treated by the evil-minded one. So, if one wants to be with Bhagavan, we should have a good mind. We should be in the righteous pathway. That is when he allows us to capture him and be with him and enjoy his bliss. Nama is Durdaraya Namaha. The last Nama in Slokam 76 is Aparajitaha. He made the Pandavas win even though they were a smaller and weaker army than the Kauravas in the Kurukshetra was. The Pandavas won because Krishna was on their side. When he asked Duryodhana, whether he wants his army or himself. Duryodhana said, I want the army because they are 100,000 people. But Krishna laughed to himself and thought that, okay, I am more powerful than the army, so I will take care of the Pandavas. So he made the Pandavas win, even though they were smaller army. So Aparajita, he is inconquerable. To summarize Slokam 76, he is the dwelling for all beings. He taught the Dwadasha mantra as a Vyuhamurti in the para form. All beings reside in him as he is the essential support of life. Jiva. He is a Jivanadi. He is always dissatisfied about what he has done for his devotees and always wants to do more and more despite having done a lot more for them. In Sri Mahabharatam, Udyoga Parvam, he says, Lord Krishna says, Draupadi is calling me Govinda during her most difficult time, and when she needed help, is always in my mind, and I feel indebted to her. He cannot tolerate any injustice that is done to his devotees by other people. So he instantaneously comes and protects his devotees, just like he did for Gajendra, Prahlada, and he came and supported Draupadi during the Draupadi Vastravaranam in Mahabharata. He destroys the ego of those who do not follow the path of righteousness, who are not dharmic, and who do adharma. He conquered the enemies and created the unconquerable Dwaraka. He is invincible. He brought the treasures of Shanka and Padma and the Parijata tree and the assembly of gods and made the Yadavas indulge in Madhupanam drink. So he made them happy by making them inconquerable. The Yadavas are very sadhus, they are very simple people who know nothing other than Krishna Bhakti. He is never proud of his power, even though he has done a lot he can do great deeds, just like lifting of the Govardhanagiri with his little finger. Even during his child's play, he cannot be caught by his parents. This we have seen him as Damodaran. When Yashoda Mata is trying to tie him up with the rope becomes smaller every time, even though she brings a bigger rope. He made the Pandavas win, even if they were a smaller and weaker army than the Kauravas in the Kurukshetra war, showing that he is Aparajita. He cannot be won over. Aparajita means to win. He cannot be won. Aparajita. This brings us to the end of Slokam 76. See you all in 77. Dhanyosmi for listening to this little explanation of Mahabharata, my conceptualization.